Hello, today is 12/31 of 24 and I am here with a video of what I eat in a day on my keto journey. It is currently 11:30. I have not had anything to eat or drink yet today, which actually is probably bad. I should probably at least be drinking some tea. I just been kind of busy and doing things. So I'm getting ready to make my first meal of the day. I am going skating, so I want to make sure that I'm getting in plenty of salt and fat with my first meal. Okay, so I kind of have a lot going on here. I've got a couple mahi fillets that I'm going to cook. I'm going to make blackened mahi. But then I also have some pork belly. This is where I'm going to really get, that fat that I'm looking for from. So I'm actually going to cook this in my air fryer. So I have that sitting here. Actually, I think I will get that preheating. And then I'm just going to kind of cut this into some chunks. I want to have about 2 ounces. So that's kind of what I'm gonna cut here is 2 ounces. And then I'll save the rest for like later. So I'm just gonna cut it into some chunks. And then I'll stick it in my air fryer and just let it cook. Oh, I do want to add some salt and pepper though, so I'll get that added. Actually, I'll add this salt. And some pepper. Okay, and then I'll just toss those in. Okay, and so then the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to deal with my fillets, my mahi. Just gonna pat these dry, and then I'll work on mixing together the spices that I'm going to put on top, which one is pepper. So, okay, so I've got a bowl here. I need 3/4 of a teaspoon of onion powder. So 1, 2, and 3. And then I need a 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. And a 1/4 teaspoon of ground black pepper. And then I need a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And then a 1/2 teaspoon of a number of other things. So oregano, thyme, paprika, and garlic powder. All right, get those all mixed together. And then at my stove, I have a saute pan that I've put 2 teaspoons of olive oil into. And I am getting that warmed up. And then I'm just going to get my rub rubbed onto my fish. And then once my pan is hot, I will get these in. Okay, I've got them in my pan. They smell delicious already. And I just want to let these sit and cook until they're about halfway cooked through and nice and golden brown on the bottom. And then I'm going to, while I'm waiting for that, I'm just going to go ahead and cut my lemon in half because I'm going to squeeze some fresh lemon on top. That's looking great. Basically, that side of my pan is a little hotter. Okay, my fish is done, my pork belly is done. I am ready to eat. All right, I'm going to try a piece of my pork belly first. It's so delicious. Okay, so I've got my lemon here. I'm going to squeeze that over my fish and then give it a try. I've never actually had mahi before, so I don't know if I'm going to like it. Yeah, it's okay. It's a little, like, I don't know if I got it overdone or if it's just the fish. It's just a little firmer than I thought, like more meaty than kind of like light and flaky fish, which is fine. It's just not kind of what I expected. But I think it's good. Like I think it's a nice hearty fish, right? Like if I were craving chicken or something, like I could totally replace it with this. If I don't know why, but if it was just something that I wanted to do, if maybe I wanted to make sure I was getting more efficient to get different nutrients or something like this could definitely replace chicken. And the flavor of the coating, the blackened flavor, is really, really good. It is about 5:30 and I am ready to make our dinner. So yesterday we made a whole turkey. So of course we have leftover turkey meat. I'm going to use that to make a new to me chicken noodle soup, only I'm going to use turkey instead of the chicken, and I'll be making my own noodles. I've got a little bit of prep work to do before I can start cooking my soup. So I need 3 stalks of celery, just sliced up. Okay, and then I need a 1/4 cup of chopped carrots. So I think about that many is probably good. Okay, and then I need a 1/2 cup of diced onion. So I have this really small onion here that I'm gonna use. All right, so I've got these all in a bowl. I'm gonna cook them at the same time, but I am going to get my chicken chopped up before I get that started. Or not my chicken, my turkey. So I've got a mix here of light and dark meat that I'm gonna use. All right, I've got my meat all chopped up. I'm ready to move to the stove. Okay, to my stock pot, I have added 2 tablespoons of butter. I'm just going to get this melted and then I will go ahead and add in my vegetables so that they can cook and soften down. Okay, so I mean, these have a little ways to go, but in looking at my recipe, it says that I can optionally use a clove of garlic. And so I want to use it, but it doesn't say like where to add the garlic. So I'm going to add it in with the rest of the aromatics, just from what I know of cooking. Well, it shouldn't go in like that. That's how, when it should be added to the dish, but I can't say for sure because there is no instruction about it in the original recipe. So I'm making my best guess. And just a tip for anybody that also uses a microplane, if you rinse your microplane right away, it'll help to make it easier to clean because the food won't kind of get stuck in those little tiny teeth. Okay, I think this looks pretty good. I'm going to turn my heat down a little and add in 3 cups of chicken broth. And 1 bay leaf. And my chicken. Or sorry, my turkey. I keep saying chicken, but it's turkey. So we need about 2 cups of cooked shredded chicken or turkey. Okay, so I'm just going to allow this to, well, I want it to come to a boil. So I'll turn it up a little bit to bring it to a boil, and then I'll reduce the heat and just let it simmer while I make the noodles. To make my noodles, I need to measure out 2 cups of almond flour. So there's 1. And this is actually a double batch of noodles. The original recipe would cut these amounts in half. Oops, I'm gonna have to be a little careful there. A little bit back in there. But I really wanted more noodles, so I am making extra noodles to go into my soup. All right, so 2 cups of almond flour, 2 tablespoons of xanthan gum, 1 teaspoon of salt, and 1 teaspoon of onion powder. And it sounds, yep, like my soup is boiling. So I'm going to go ahead and just reduce that down a little and allow it to simmer while I make these. Oh, I have also preheated my oven to 200 degrees. Okay, and then I need 2/3 of a cup of what the recipe calls is hot water, but I want to add a little more flavor. So I'm going to use chicken broth instead of water. So I need 2/3 of a cup and I need it to be hot. Okay, so I'm gonna just get these whisked together and add in my hot broth. Kind of get that mixed around, and then I'm going to add in my 2 large eggs. I'm gonna kind of get these beaten a little and then get everything all mixed together, which I'm probably going to switch to my hands just because I feel like it's going to be the best tool for the job. Okay, so then I'm supposed to place this between 2 sheets of parchment paper. So here's 1 sheet. I've got my second sheet and I'm just going to use my rolling pin to roll this out to somewhere between 1/8 and 1/4 of an inch thick, which is going to be harder than just doing it. All right, now that I've got it all rolled out, I am going to cut it into the noodle size that I want, I guess. Okay, and then I want to move this to a baking sheet and get it into my oven. And they need to bake for between 15 and 20 minutes. All right, it has been 20 minutes, so I think my noodles are done. They're still like a little soft, but also firm. So I turned my soup off because I don't want to add these in while like the soup is boiling, because then like my noodles could kind of just disintegrate. You know, they're not traditional noodles. They kind of work a little differently. So I've turned it off. I'm going to get these added in. Oh my gosh, it looks so good. Now, I did add more broth to this for a couple of reasons while it was cooking. So one was just that it was becoming a little too reduced, so it wasn't going to be much of a soup. And because I made extra noodles, I wanted to have, you know, more liquid in there to kind of make sure that it kind of stays as a soup too. So I did do that. And I'm just going to take this, there we go, my bay leaf out and dish it up. All right, I'm gonna make sure that I get some noodle and some turkey in there and some celery. I'm not gonna make sure I get any carrot in there because I actually don't like cooked carrot. but I do like the flavor that it adds to soup. So that's why I didn't just leave it out. That's delicious. Yeah, I really like that. The noodles, I'm gonna eat just like a noodle. Yeah, the noodles are very good. Like I wouldn't be able to distinguish these really from like a traditional egg noodle, except they're just a little bit grainier, but not bad. And especially as you eat it like as a whole bite, you really can't even tell at all. It was just like when I ate just a specific, just one noodle that I could kind of tell. So this is a great recipe. I'm really glad that I made that soup with extra noodles. It was like such a nice homey dish and really helped to fill me up. So I just made my bone broth. I have a cup of bone broth here, and I actually mixed in a half serving of my beef protein powder. So when I made my coffee this afternoon, it was after I had had lunch. I only used one serving of my whey protein powder in it, and then with the intent that I would use my half serving of beef protein powder mixed into my bone broth. So that's what I did, along with a quarter teaspoon of salt. I still need to drink my apple cider vinegar. And I'm going to mix that in with my second bottle of body armor. It's going to be a regular body armor, sugar free, but not the Flash IV version, just because I don't need that much more sodium in my day. So it's just going to be a regular sugar free body armor, and I'll mix my apple cider vinegar in because my regular ones are orange. And so, like that citrusy, I think, flavor will help with the apple cider vinegar flavor. So anyway, my day turned out with about 1,300 calories. My protein is 131, not quite where I want it for the day, but that's not a problem because yesterday I had 146 or something. So it all evens out. My carbs are less than 19. Oh, well, that's actually my total carbs. Sorry. My net carbs are less than 13. My fat is about 72, and my sodium is about 4,000. So I had a pretty great day today. Maybe I'll see you tomorrow.